Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your co-pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey into the deep of Chinese language. Here we talked about 哈尔滨冰雕. Well, that's my natural Chinese way of pronunciation. That's how fast it is. 哈尔滨, okay? 哈尔滨冰雕. That's the ice sculpture festival every year held in this northeast Chinese city, heavily influenced by Russian culture over there. So that's why in the sculptures, lots of times it's the domes, onion shaped. Okay, 不过尔尔 is today's phrase, and this one is an interesting combination of Chinese contemporary expression with some ancient Chinese word. Actually is ancient Chinese. We don't, like in our contemporary Chinese speaking, use this character anymore. It was only existing. I mean, it is only existing in set expressions. Like 哈尔滨, that's the sound translation. We understand, okay, it doesn't really mean anything in that sound translation, or in set phrases like this, that's kind of put together later on in the semi-contemporary, like old China, new China transition about 100 years ago. So when scholars were still well versed in the ancient Chinese culture and the language, but they are starting to use more spoken everyday contemporary Chinese, and then they coined these two together. So 不过尔尔 不过 is contemporary, 尔尔 is the old Chinese. 不 we talked about before. I mean, by itself, 不 pronounced as 不, but because the next sound is 过, it's falling tone. If it's a 不过, it's kind of making more efforts, but a 不过 is kind of okay. It's a better flow of the sound pronunciation. A looks like this, and legend has it that this is a bird shooting upward, trying to reach the sky, refuse, say no to earth, doesn't want to come down. So that's the one story of how this concept was created. It's a bird, it's a stubborn bird trying to go up as high as possible. 过, okay, when you see this structure, it means something related to walking. So it looks like this. So this was simplified to this in the simplified Chinese version. So this is traditional Chinese. Here on the left side, why it's related to walking, because here this is the sign of food. And this food, eventually I figured out why it looks so weird. It doesn't look like food, right? Originally it was painted. I mean, it's almost like a hand-drawn food with, this is the arch of the food, okay? And this three kind of like cactus looking structure actually was the three toes pointing, like the food was positioned this way. So three toes pointing this way. But eventually, because we have to write it in somehow, and it was transformed into this cactus shape food symbol. So there's simply anatomy of food rendering back then. The three strokes like that got a certain pattern rhythm of there. It means food steps. So with food and the steps, evidence of using the food, that simply means walking, right? Okay, the right side is the sound maker. I didn't even bother to check the origins, but it sounds like a guo, so now it becomes 过. Okay, 不过, 过 means walking past something. Sometimes when we're taking the train, I mean, the passengers will be afraid to pass their destiny without knowing. So we have a term for that called 过站. 站 is the station. You pass the station that you're going to. That's something bad, right? You have to write it backwards. So 不过 means not past. And 尔尔, that's the old Chinese. And in last time we talked about 尔, it's a splitting of the air, right? With a twirl. I mean, it looks like this. It's still on this page. That was used very versatile. It just used Because in Chinese, we also have to have some words as a referral, as the linking of the concept. It doesn't really represent some concrete thing or activity. So this is one of those versatile linking words that could mean yours, right? Or it could mean this or that. So that depends on the context, and then we assign the meaning of English meaning. Right? In Chinese, we just are. We don't have to bother to think about exactly this or that or your. Okay, so in this case means this. So 不过尔尔, you can imagine in the context of using this phrase, it's like describing a situation is not passing this. So this actually means like something in front of you. It's ordinary object, ordinary result. So 不过尔 means it's just like that. There is nothing special, extraordinary about it. So 不过尔 is our ordinary. It means ordinary. But in English, I find just so is a perfect match of this, because so can mean this, right? And 不过 means just. There is a hidden tone of disappointment up there. But 不过尔 as most of us, like we cannot really, like I have the channel, right? The channel is 不过尔 is it's ordinary. There's nothing extraordinary about this place. It's just a way for me to share my language, my native tongue. And I put an image of northern part of China. Somebody visit there and took this orangey looking sky, kind of, I don't know if it's a fire or sunset situation, but it's kind of magical. And with this image, I try to make a point of, okay, ordinary looking scenery, like our everyday living environment could look magical at a certain point. Like in this image, when it's snow dropping and then orangey looking sky, kind of a quiet, and then all of a sudden I got this, this tone, this tint of orangey everything. And it becomes, all of a sudden you view it from a different lens, different color palette almost. And then this becomes a magic world. It becomes extraordinary. So just so can be transformed or can become something not just so. It becomes something, it got its rare moment of being extraordinary. So everybody or everything could have its extraordinary moment, even if most of the days we're just so. All right, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.